Alright guys, welcome back to Tesla challenge number 2. So some other cool things I really wanted to go over with you guys was just the adaptive cruise control. This is something that I feel is very underrated with Teslas, where other cars do have this feature, which is really nice, but I feel like the Tesla does it even better just because of all the recognition that it has with the cameras and the radar and proximity sensors around the car. So basically what this does is it'll slow down and accelerate automatically to whatever speed you have it set at. So right now I'm steering the car, but the car will slow down and stop for me automatically. So right there, it thought that truck was in the middle of the road. So there's a little error with autopilot, but I did go over the line of the road, so it doesn't know what to do there. Also with stop signs, the car, stop signs and stoplights, the car does not know what to do yet in those kind of situations, which is what full self-driving is really heading towards, is getting the car prepared to be able to fully self-drive and stop at stoplights, make right turns for me, make left turns at stoplights. That's where they're really heading with this software. And it's crazy of how this technology works. But the adaptive cruise control is something that I use really often in like bumper to bumper traffic, but I don't want to use autopilot. Autopilot will work on streets like this, but it's not made for it yet. It's getting there, it's getting better and better. I do use it, but when I'm going like through traffic like this where I'm just like sitting here, I will use adaptive cruise control a lot of the time because then I don't have to worry about the whole stop and go thing and someone slamming on their brakes. The Tesla can watch the car in front of me due to radar. It's able to go up there and see what's going on, additionally to the camera, where it's able to detect stuff before your human eye could actually detect it. So it's kind of crazy with the fact that it can do these kinds of things. So what I'm gonna do here, this challenge, it's a nighttime, obviously in the footage you can already tell. We're gonna do how Tesla works in the nighttime. How are the cameras, how do they work? The radar is a huge help at nighttime too, because obviously at night there's a lot more glare with lights, and it being so dark, there's not lights on the side of the cars for the cameras on the sides, so it uses a lot more of radar. And it also uses the reflection of light to be able to see the white and yellow lines on the roads to help with that. So we're gonna go into another time lapse here. We're gonna get over to the highway and we're gonna start up autopilot. Alright, so we're getting on the on-ramp here. I don't use autopilot going on this ramp, although it is supported. There's a toll here, so going through tolls, you really don't want to use autopilot. There's not really lanes where it splits, so I wouldn't recommend using autopilot into a toll here, just due to the fact that it's not at that stage where you can really do those kind of things. Future updates, when we do get full self-driving again, that's when we'll really see this kind of stuff start. And you'll see this guy on my right is trying to race me, but I'm gonna have autopilot do the work here and go into this. So I'm just gonna set the speed because the speed limit hasn't been put on yet because we're not on the highway yet. You'll see a little speed limit sign will change in a moment. So now we'll merge onto the highway automatically for me. Just puts on the blinker, moves into the new lane, and we're good to go. So I really just want to see, because I mean there's a bit more traffic now on my way home than on my way to work. There's definitely, we'll see how it reacts with the different, with moving lanes and what it wants to do. Because what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to let normally I do stop the car from making certain lane changes when I drive, but for these videos it's a challenge. I want the car to be able to drive me from point A to point B with autopilot not failing. If I have to turn off autopilot for any reason, that's gonna make the car fail, and that'll kind of be the end of that segment. So the challenge is for autopilot to do everything for me and go through there. Now there is one turn which I know Autopilot is 99% gonna fail on unless I slow down the speed. The one ramp that I have to get off on the highway, it doesn't detect the lane line in time, so it almost goes over the line and almost hits the guardrail. So I always have to either disengage it or I slow down my car preemptively to allow it to go ahead and do that. So we'll see how that goes when we get there, but we'll see what Autopilot decides it wants to do. We'll cut back in once the car starts doing something. Let's see if the car is gonna want to pass now. Yep. I swear, like you start learning Autopilot more and more. So this guy was going slow, but this guy in front of me now was riding in my blind spot, which I was able to see on the screen here. I saw the little car. So the car was waiting for him to go because it obviously doesn't want to have to squeeze in real quick or have this guy speed up and have to deal with that. Now what the car did, as soon as he passed, it put on the blinker and moved us over. So that was smart. That's exactly what I would have done. I probably would have moved over a little bit earlier, but again, we're letting Autopilot do everything here. That's the whole part of the challenge. What Autopilot does do is, if it's trying to move over and you have some guys switch lanes and come flying up real quick, Autopilot will actually cancel its lane change and move over back into your lane you were coming from. So, because that's why it does the lane change a bit slower than like a normal person, a lot of people just jerk into the lane real quick. Autopilot does it slowly, so then it's still like the car, if you have someone behind you, they'll know like, hey, they're coming back over, they're not rushing over to that lane. You're able to get back into your lane you were in safely without having somebody rear end you or an accident being caused. So Autopilot's really good on that whole factor where it wants to keep you in the car as safe as possible, and it will purposely take its time to do certain actions. The biggest thing is, right now, it's not everyone on the road obviously doesn't have Autopilot, so the car has to be precautious because it doesn't know what person A might do compared to person B. Person A might be going super slow, person B might be flying by. The car has to be able to calculate all that kind of stuff and be able to know what to do in each kind of situation. Once there's more self-driving cars on the road, they're all going to be kind of doing the same thing, and it's going to be a lot better with the fact that the cars can all flow a lot easier because it's all AI generated almost. It's all, the computer is recognizing things that have been coded into it, and it kind of just goes from there. So the future of self-driving is just insane, and I can't wait to, that's one of the biggest things that I love about Tesla specifically is the amount of software updates we get. This is like when I was a kid with iPhone updates. It's just, getting the software updates from Tesla are addicting, and I love it. All the little things they keep adding between games, the Autopilot features that keep getting updated, and just everything that Tesla does to enhance the driver experience. I love it. And I really just love the whole Tesla team and what Elon has done so far. It's amazing, and I hope they just keep this stuff going on. I mean, Tesla was a company that was going bankrupt at one point, and Elon Musk bought it out and they started production of cars. And since, I think the original Model S came out in 2012, since then the whole line of Tesla has changed dramatically compared to where they had the cars starting at like over $100,000. The Model S and X, like right around $80,000 starting price. That's a much higher priced vehicle. A Model 3, a base model, so a little bit lower than this one, you're looking at starting at $35,000. That's the same price as like a Honda Civic and stuff these days. So that obviously doesn't have like all the autopilot and stuff like that. Then you're more looking towards 40 to 50,000 for like full self-driving and all those kind of features. So it does get a bit more expensive, but if you really want to help the environment and like have a green car, stuff like that, it definitely is an amazing car, even performance-wise. They're fast cars. So we have this one guy, he started slowing down, we put on the blinker, the car decided it's going to move over now. So it's going to make its way. Here comes that off-ramp, so we're 0.7 miles away from it right now. I'm going to end up slowing down the car myself just because this ramp, you'll see how it goes over the line. It's kind of ridiculous. So I'm gonna start slowing us down a bit here. Okay, so we're at 65. I don't want to go too slow, so then somebody's gonna like want to rear end me. But at the same time, I want Tesla to do everything here, so I'm gonna slow us down. They're pretty far behind me, so let's bring it down to like 50. Let's bring it down to 40. So let's see. It did it. So when I'm going slow, but you can see how the car kind of jerks over there. It doesn't move over enough in time, especially at a higher speed. What is the car doing here? Now we're staying very right. So it's normally very good with keeping it centered in the lane, but it was a little bit to the right there. So I don't know if it's because of a glare of a light on the lines or what. But you'll see it'll take the turns here. Pretty fine. It's doing good. And now it wants me to take control because it doesn't know what to do because there's no lines upcoming here. So that's the one thing, big toll plazas with full self-driving. I really want to know how that's going to work in the future. Obviously the amount of cameras and radar on the car is just going to have to make its way throughout it. But we kind of just have to see how Tesla's going to do it, because they want no geofencing, nothing like that. And the thing is, with me using this car right now, whenever I have Autopilot engaged, Tesla is tracking the data of how the car is performing. And if you disengage Autopilot, it will automatically send a notification to Tesla to review the footage from your car to see, okay, this is where they were. They disengaged because of this reason. They had to do this maneuver, and see what happened, basically. So the whole thing is helping Tesla improve their software and the whole engineering department of Tesla to be able to make this a much more functional and getting us to the full self-driving. But where they've come so far, as I said, since 2012 is dramatically insane. I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. This is something I've personally watched on YouTube a lot, and it's what's given me the idea to do these Tesla challenges. I really hope you guys are enjoying it. The feedback on the first episode has been great so far, and I can't wait to keep doing more of this. If you guys have any requests, again, just leave them down in the comments below, and we will get that working for you guys. And thanks again for tuning in, guys. I hope you all have a great New Year's, and I will see you all soon. Peace.